So here we are in the quizzes section of the Canvas 201 course to show you how to add a quiz to your page. So in order to do so, you can see I already have a few here from your class, but yours will probably be blank if you've never added one before. But the way that you add one is by clicking on this plus quiz button here. So you have the option of choosing a classic quiz or a new quiz. For the sake of this course, we're going to stick to classic quizzes. There are lots of options in there. So we're going to take a look at that first. So you're going to click on submit. And then you'll see that a bunch of blank stuff comes up. So let's talk about what's coming up here. This is the name of your quiz. Let's call it the best quiz ever. And you might have specific instructions for your students. If that's the case, then you'll type them here. This is just an overall. This doesn't have anything to do with the questions themselves or directions for a specific question. It might be something like read the choices carefully or work on one section than the other or something like that. But this is just a general overview. Now you have a few options down here, and let's talk about what those are. First is the quiz type. You have a choice of a practice quiz, a graded survey, or an ungraded survey. So a practice quiz would be the equivalent of, say, our pretest. So it's just to gauge an understanding of something. Or for those of you who structure your class that way, it might be that a practice quiz is your quiz, the one worth 0%, and the graded quiz is actually what you give as the test. So that's like the ultimate one that you give them. Your surveys, graded or ungraded, are for, say, gauging interest in something. It's almost like a poll where you just ask them questions that they give answers to, but they might get a grade for completing it, or it might just see something specific about your class. So the surveys are a little bit different than quizzes. We're going to stick to quizzes, like actual graded quizzes, so that you can see all the different features that it has available. So let's look at these options. You can choose to shuffle the answers. So that just means that A, B, C, and D will be in randomized order. That just could be to help prevent cheating or copying. You can set a time limit so that your students only have, say, 60 minutes a class period to complete it, or 30 minutes and then we got to move on, guys, because, you know, SOLs are ever impending. Or you can just leave the time limit off and allow them to take as much time as they need. You can also allow them to take it a few times. So it gives you a couple options when you do that. If you allow multiple attempts, one, you can choose how many attempts they're allowed to have after that. Say you get one more chance, dude. After that, I mean, what's the point? Or you can say you get 10 more chances because every chance is a learning opportunity. Up to you and your personal philosophy. Then you can choose how to score it. So you can have it so that whatever they got highest is a grade that they get to keep. Or it always sticks to the latest grade. Or you just take an average of all their scores and that's their overall score. From what I understand, as far as standards-based grading goes, it should be the highest. Or you can say, nope, you get one choice, that's it. Okay, so the next one, let students see their quiz responses. So if you have this option chosen, then you have a few options within it. First, if you're letting them see their responses, it'll show that certain questions are incorrect. It says incorrect questions will be marked in student feedback. So they'll be able to see which ones they got wrong. So if you choose to do that, make sure that's what you want. But you can make it so that they can only see it once. So that's helpful too. So say you give them a quiz and they've attempted it. You're not going to show them their responses every single time, just maybe the one time. You can also let them see what the actual answers are. Now you can choose, if you have this toggle just like this, then it's going to show them the first time they take it. However, you can have it so that it only shows after their last attempt. Or you can choose a specific day to show them, or a specific day to turn those correct answers off. So there is a lot of versatility in this option. So it's worth playing around with depending on what it is that you want them to do with this quiz and what the purpose of the quiz is. You can also have it just show one question at a time. So this is kind of like how the SOLs work, right? They only see one question and they move on to the next. Or it could be like a CAT test to where if you lock the questions after answering, it basically means they can't go back. So you answer your question and you move on. Or you can have them all up at once. You can also give them a password by requiring an access code. So that's really helpful if you know you have kids at home who can see this quiz right now, but you don't want them taking it without being at school, then maybe you add a password to it that you only give out at school. And just like assignments, you can choose to assign it to everyone in the group, which is the default, or you can choose to assign it to specific sections. Say different class periods are taking it at different times. You can also add multiple choices here for different due dates for each section. So, or different days that they can start it. So again, versatility, lots of it. So those are the details of the quiz. Let's take a look at how to actually add questions, because that's a really important part of your quiz. If you click on the questions tab at the top, you'll see that it's blank. There are no questions. This is the easiest quiz ever, until we hit that new question button. So this is where we start to add questions. There is a drop down here for you to choose the different types of question types: multiple choice, true, false, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of options here. There's options for math, science. Every content area I can think of could add questions in some kind of format here. It is definitely worth playing around with. One of the things I'll tell you is that while multiple choice might seem straightforward, something like having the kids fill in multiple blanks is not as straightforward at first glance, but they're really good at actually giving you instructions. So here it's telling us that in the box below, anytime that we want to have like an answer box that they have to fill in, we just type our words in brackets, and then we have the options below to actually fill in what the answer should be in that box. The same thing works for multiple drop downs. The difference here is that instead of fill in the blank, which you type, multiple drop downs still has those blanks in the sentence, but you can give them a list of choices to choose from, which is great for differentiation as well. You can also have a formula question. So this one's cool because basically you build a formula and then have a set of possible answer combinations. And then the students are going to see the question with a randomly selected set of variables filled in. And then they just have to type in the correct answer, like the correct number. So then it gives you an example down here. Again, options for all different types of teachers here. Let's take a look at multiple choice real quick. So if I said, why is the sky blue? Now, right now, it's just a question. I haven't given any type of answer choices here, so there's nothing that they'd actually be able to answer. So I have to click on add another answer. So a possible answer to this is because, let's say that's the right answer. So if a possible answer is because Mrs. Croft said so, if I click on this, you see this is red right here, that means that it's an incorrect answer. That's one of the answers that you give to throw off. So you have to click on it. Oh, sorry. You click on this green arrow here, and that's going to make it the correct answer. Now, this box down here with the 3 dots, that's where you can add a comment. So if the student chooses this answer, you can say, that's right. What she says goes. And that will pop up after they answer the question. But multiple choice means that you give several answers. So if one of the possible answers was chemistry and stuff, right now that green arrow is not chosen, which means this answer is incorrect. And if you click here, you can also add a comment explaining why that answer is incorrect. So that'll pop up in these boxes here. That's showing the comments that show up. Okay, science. And so these are the 3 answers. The correct answer, hypothetically, is because Ms. Cross said so. Then we have these 2 answers that are incorrect. We can keep adding lots of different choices in there if we'd like. And when you're all done, this is really important because I wasted a lot of time thinking my computer wasn't working, when in reality, I just forgot to click this right here, update question. That's super important. If you don't click that, then your question doesn't get saved. So you click on update question, and then you can add a new question. So you want to make sure that you do that first. You can always go back into the question by clicking this little edit button here. It'll bring you right back into where you started. Then you can just update it again when you're done. Or you can click on this little X here and delete it. You can add lots of different types of questions. You can mix and match anything you'd like. So say this time, I'm going to include multiple drop downs. So this one I want to show you because it is a little bit more complicated. But remember it said that in your question, whatever you put in those brackets here is the choices that they have. So let's see. So if I said fill in the blanks, we go together like peanut butter and jelly. Now, say I wanted peanut butter to be one of the choices that they could make and jelly to be the other. I have to put those brackets around those two places, and that's going to create the drop-down menus for me. So first, let's show the possible answers for peanut butter. Now remember here it said no spaces can be in the reference word. So peanut butter is going to be right here. So it says show the possible answers for peanut butter. So we want that green arrow means the correct answer, peanut butter, to be the correct answer, but we can also say lamb, or they have a bunch to choose from. So let's say jalapenos. All right, so those are the possible answers for peanut butter, but we still need possible answers for jelly as well. So let's toggle that one. So for jelly, the correct answer is jelly. It could also be tuna fish or goat's milk. Gross. All right, so those are 3 options for that one. Now if I go back to peanut butter, I can see what my choices were for peanut butter and for jelly. And I can click on update question. So, all right, so once you've done that and you have all the questions that you want, then you can go ahead and publish your work. Seems to be taking a long time.